start like this. Wherever you are, whoever you are, whatever you believe in when it comes to the sporting world, we know there is one person that is bigger than life itself, bigger than basketball, bigger than sports, one of the greatest athletes to ever grace this planet, and arguably the greatest person to ever touch a basketball. LeBron Raymond James has selected the Philadelphia 76ers as his next and final destination in his illustrious and elite career, signing a 2-year, $8 million deal. Pretty amazing. The last thing I'll say this before I turn it over to you guys to share, um, how you guys are doing. This is one of those moments where it's like, um, kind of surreal because I think everybody had been kind of looking at Cleveland, Miami as kind of the front runners, comfortability. But now he just throws in, we throw in the wild card. How we feeling today about everything? Obviously, the news broke earlier today. How we feeling today?
Surreal, brother. Surreal. Surreal. The
Hmm.
king. The king has made a decision. That's how I feel. I feel good. It's always a great day when we got LeBron in the headlines, man. So,
Yeah, look, I love LeBron James and I'm always grateful for him. Even as a Michael Jordan guy, then again, I don't think you need to pick sides there. I don't know if I was underwhelmed because of how long the decision took or like all the chaos and destinations or all that, whatever you want to call it, but glad it's over with and I'm sure we're going to talk about it. So,
Yeah, yeah. Um, Other than LeBron, how we feeling in terms of, just life and everything? How we feeling?
well, the Mets are about to get teed off on the Dodgers, so excited for that.
You
Um,
heard what the president
no,
said.
but yeah, I did. I did. That was crazy.
He was like, the
Um,
Mets just keep losing. They suck.
ridiculous. But fellas, I didn't tell you. We got a new job. So
really?
here
Okay.
on Talkball Tweakers, I am work going. Let me do this, man. This is tough. I'm gonna take my talents. To, gosh, my LeBron impression is not that good, but I will take my talents to the Big Ten Conference, where I will be working on their editorial site as a freelancer to at least June. So I thought there was no better place to tell you guys than on the podcast that they watched. So
Let's
yeah,
All
go.
right. Wait, is
yeah,
it Big Ten Network? Big Ten Network?
Big Ten Conference.
Oh, Big Ten
Conference. So I'll be
Conference.
doing
Let's
stuff for the network too, but it's
go.
the conference. So moving back
Fire.
up north, maybe back to Shy, we'll see. But had to tell you
Okay.
guys, hopefully no one burns my jersey or stuff down here. But felt there was no better place for me to tell you guys than right here. So yeah,
And that
two. I wish I got 8 million like LeBron did, but that's a whole nother story.
We got all types of breaking news on this pod,
Yeah,
man.
Yes,
exactly.
sir. Yes, sir.
That's what I'm talking about, boy.
The real decision has been made. That's what
A
I'm
real
talking about.
decision. Yeah, no, but they seriously watched the pod, so huge. So
Hey.
Awesome.
yeah, let's get into it.
Congratulations.
Thank you,
All
dog.
Um,
right.
Thank you. Appreciate you guys.
all right. So on this
Wait,
emergency
hold
pod.
on, hold on, hold on. Does that mean like you can't talk shit about Big Ten no more or nothing?
No, I could. Like I
Okay.
know we're not supposed
You
to.
can
I'll
still
just
talk
need
shit about Ohio State, right? Is that can
yeah, yeah.
okay, okay, okay.
Analytically, yeah. It's like
Hey, it
I'll
won't
trust me.
hey,
I know how to
hey,
sugarcoat it. I know
hey,
how
it
to
won't
sugarcoat
stop
it.
me. It won't stop me in London.
Yeah, I know how to sugarcoat it. Don't worry. I got you. I got you.
All
But
right.
yeah,
All
won't
That's all
stop
right.
me
I need.
today talking about LeBron or
Yes,
Philly. Don't worry.
sir. Okay, you gentlemen ready to
Talk
talk
ball.
ball?
Oh,
Talk
That
ball.
was I
Man,
set it up
that was
bad.
so
I set it
ass.
up bad. I
yeah.
set it
That
up
was
Good
so
bad.
enough. Good enough.
ass.
It's all right. It's all right. All right. Let's get into it. Obviously, we promoted LeBron James is heading to Philly. He had four teams specifically on his radar. You had Cleveland and Miami, obviously the two most familiar, being that he won three titles between the two franchises. And then you had the Warriors and the 76ers was really a wild card. I think this was pretty big just from the fact that it was 76ers. It was kind of interesting because when we talked about this in LeBron's destination, I was kind of like poo-pooing the Sixers. I was like, ew. And then about a week later, actually, I put it on my TikTok. I was like, actually, I started thinking about it, and I was like, actually, if you think about everything, because the reports were he chose Philly because it was the best opportunity in his eyes to win a championship. And so I felt that way, a couple weeks ago. And so for him to go there kind of just speaks to where I thought was best for him. But how do we feel and how do we interpret this move? It being his last, obviously, 2 years, so this might be his last. So how do we feel about that?
Yeah, I mean, as a bronologist, a lot of people have another word for it. As a bronologist, and
No, no, no.
LeBron,
Use the other word. Use the other word.
You
Come
can
on
no,
use it.
no,
now.
no, 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 because that's the correct term I'm using.
Hey,
Um,
that's fine. That's fine.
yeah, no, as a LeBron guy, I love the move. I well actually let me rephrase that. As a basketball fan, I love the move. As a LeBron fan, I like it. Um, I think there were for me as a fan, I think there were options that I was eyeing for him that were better, legacy wise. I think, and that's in the only case is legacy wise. Cleveland and Miami were the two, obviously. Um, Legacy wise, I wanted him to go to. I think I think it's gonna. I mean, we talked about it um, on a podcast before, but like it just, I think it does kind of put a little bit of a stain on his career, just a little bit. Because we'll keep it a buck here. Like he's ring chasing a little bit. He's
As
ring
he
chasing a
should.
little
As
bit.
he's
But
allowed to.
but
Yeah.
but at
Yeah.
the end of the day, though, I think all of the he has all the will to do it. Like he is absolutely free and able to do that though. He is 41 years old. He has given this game everything he's got. He has been, a basketball savant. He has been, the guy that people look up to. He has been the model, the epitome of an NBA star and face of the league of the NBA. So he deserves to be able to do that. Obviously, LeBron James has a lot of people who hate him, and they are going to be the ones who now look at this and be like, "Oh yeah, look at Bron ring chasing all this type of BS." But that's the only reason why I don't like it. As a fan, I like it, and as a basketball fan, I love it.
Yeah.
Absolutely love it. You're looking at a starting lineup of Tyrese Maxey, VJ Edgecombe, Jaylen Brown, Joel Embiid, and now LeBron James. I think seriously, I don't think we've never seen a starting five like this in NBA history. And I'm gonna stand on that. We have not seen a starting five in NBA history of this caliber. If everybody is healthy, if everybody's playing their game, this starting five can go down as arguably the greatest starting five ever, 100%. And LeBron James is 41 years old. To think about that is insane. So I love it. I absolutely love it. I'm so excited to see how they make it work. I'm sure we're going to talk about that in a second, so I'm not going to get into that yet. But yeah, no, I'm excited to watch it. Um, and yeah, LeBron is a Sixer. I can't believe I'm saying those words.
Yeah.
But he's a Sixer.
Um, Yeah, it's pretty crazy to think of. We've been through three LeBron decisions, obviously the really big one. I guess four at this point. Him going home to Cleveland felt pretty surreal too. That was my favorite. I was at summer camp when he picked the Lakers, and a lot of people knew that. Um, I'm gonna push back on the best starting five ever because you forgot Michael Brown, Edward Demeen, Julius Randle, Michael Porter Jr., and Noah Clowney. But it's all right. Um,
This guy.
no, I love everything. I am like look, in a debate about LeBron versus Michael Jordan, and I know we're not doing that now. Do I think he's going to the 76ers to chase a ring? Obviously, as he should. He's 41. He's the face of the NBA, and he's been the face of the NBA since he's been in the league. The fact that he is defying father time, playing the way he is, I know he's taken a step back in the past year, but he deserves to go win a ring, and he helps him win a ring. I do agree with you. I think on paper, this is the most talented starting five the NBA has ever seen. There's obviously a really big if, and we're about to talk about it. Like injuries with one LeBron, Joel Embiid, Tyrese Maxey gets hurt sometimes. A lot of ifs, but you gotta love it. And like the one more thing I think of, or two more things. One, Philly fans, this is the most excited you should be since AI, or maybe even more than AI because it's LeBron James and stuff. And two, like, imagine if Brad Stevens would have put Hugo Gonzalez in the Giannis package, how that would have changed everything. Because look, I'm not saying that the Bucks take the Celtics offer if Hugo Gonzalez is in there. But as working for Nesson and stuff, like, and all the Celtics feed, it's just like he didn't want to give up Hugo Gonzalez, who is a second-year player, a lot of potential, and they missed out on Giannis because of it. Imagine if Giannis becomes a Celtic and they don't trade Jaylen Brown to the Sixers, and then LeBron's not going there. And so it's pretty cool to think of. And for Philadelphia, I mean, the sky's the limit. We'll talk about realistic expectations, but the realistic expectation is a championship. And like, look, we're about to talk about it, so I'm not going to give my whole thoughts, but it's a really exciting time for Philadelphia and the NBA. And it's just like, we have said this on more than half of our episodes. There's only so much LeBron James left. You have to enjoy every second of it because, like, there's never going to be a player like this ever again.
Yeah, this is like I alluded to before, I was thinking about this from a perspective of what makes sense from him for him the most. And I was looking at Miami and I said they have no bench. Even if you have Giannis, you still have kind of conflict there. Giannis didn't look like he really wanted Bron to go there. And you have no bench. So you got to do a lot of heavy lifting at 41. Cleveland Cleveland, from a team perspective, had everything that you wanted. They had everything built and ready to go. But do I really want to go back to Cleveland for a third stint? I already gave them their championship. I am Cleveland Cavaliers. When you think Cleveland Cavaliers, it's LeBron James, then Kyrie second, but it's a wide margin because it's LeBron's city. I don't want to go back there for a third stint. I already gave you the championship. You already haven't given me jack squat in terms of players. Every time I go there, you don't give me anything. So why would I go back there now when you have everything? For me, I would think the same thing. And then the Warriors is just like it's me and Steph. Draymond's not even signed. Even if you give Braun $30 million, there's nothing there. You don't win
Yep.
anything. And it's the West. So you think you're going through Thunder and Spurs? No, you can't even get through the Nuggets, maybe even the Wolves with the Warriors roster. So for him, Philly makes sense. And I thought about it from this standpoint. Bron ain't never been on the East Coast. He would have been he would have been a Knick had they not won the championship. So he's looking at it from a standpoint of I dominated the East last time I was here. Last time I was in Cleveland, I won the East 8 straight years. All right. He
Mhm.
runs the East. So he's going back to the East where it is wide open, right? Obviously, we know the front runner is the Knicks, and obviously they deserve to be that way. But now he's Sixers jumped from maybe fourth, fifth to second in the East as a team. And especially from the standpoint that we have had so many different Eastern champions, he's looking at this like, I could just win the East and I get to the finals. Guess what? All I got to do is give 100% of me at 41 and I can walk away into the sunset with 5 championships and the first person to do it with 4 different franchises. That's also something. So I love the move. I thought it was kind of stupid at first, but then I was like, at 41, why not have fun in life? Why not do something that's new and different? Don't go over to the same people. Do something that you know. Take less money, become the glue that holds that team together because they theoretically have everything you want. Every single type of scoring, they can shoot. They have a big man. All they got to do is wait for Joel to be healthy, give the 20% in the playoffs. Braun holds it together during the regular season. You got Brown, you got Maxey who give you 30 a game. Braun can give you maybe 20. VJ gives you what he can give you, and it all fits together.
Mhm.
So I think from that standpoint, it all just works. And Philly's always been a great franchise. They just never had enough to actually win it, but they had all-time players. They had MVPs come through there, and now they just got Jaylen Brown, so everything changes with Philly. So from a standpoint, it's kind of icky to think about LeBron in a Sixers jersey to some degree, but it works. Um, I know Blake kind of held off on talking about it, but how do we feel in terms of I kind of take it another direction. How do we feel in terms of stacking up against the competition? I know I said I moved them up to second in the East. How are we looking at it from a standpoint of obviously you still got the Thunder and you still got the Spurs and the Knicks ahead of them. Where do you rank them in terms of championship level behind what teams, how good, how do they match up
Mhm.
for you guys?
Uh,
Um, yeah,
Jake,
you go first. You
you
go.
want me to
Yours
go
is going to be a
first?
bit more optimistic than mine. So yeah.
Okay. Um, I think in the East, I'm ready to call them number one. I'm ready to do it. I know when we talked about Jaylen Brown to Philly, I said New York is still the favorite. They come off a championship, yada yada yada. I know what I said. I know what I said. Is there a little bit of LeBron bias in here, for me being a fan? Probably. Probably. But um I mean, I said it. I said it a few minutes ago. This is something we have not seen in the NBA. This is something we have never seen. We have not seen a starting five like this. And I'm ready to do it. I'm ready to call them favorites in the East. I really am. Um, I mean, it's obviously yes, like New York should be number one. I'm not mad at somebody saying New York's number one. Um, I mean, shit. In 2 days, I might say New York's number one, but nah. I think right now I'm ready to call it. Like they're the favorites in the East. They're the team to beat. They're absolutely the team to beat. And if you look at it, I mean, now everybody is going to be looking at Philly like we have to beat these guys. Even New York. I bet you Brunson and McHale and Cat and I know obviously they just won a championship, their confidence is high, but they probably seen that shit and said, we gotta beat Philly. We gotta beat Philly. And
It's
and
fun.
I,
No,
I,
keep
I
going, keep
mean,
going.
yeah, absolutely. I think Jake, I don't know if you were about to say it or not. Yeah, absolutely. They gotta beat New York too. But now all of these teams are looking at Philly because LeBron James just signed, and they're like, we gotta go beat these. We gotta go beat these cats. We gotta go beat them. So
Yeah,
I'm ready to call them. I'm ready to call them favorites. I really am. I think in the West, I don't know. Like are they my favorite to win the NBA championship? I don't know. I think San Antonio might be my favorite. If we're talking East and West overall in the NBA, but I'm ready to call Philly favorites in the East, man. I am.
yeah. I mean, look, that's all right. Um, and like the huge if, like if it works, the Sixers could be a team that wins 65 games. They're a team that could be the number one seed in the East. But there's an also realistic scenario where it doesn't work and they're like a six seed and they're still scary come the playoffs, but that's what the regular season is in the NBA. As long as you're in, you're in. Well, I'm not hiding it. Like I root for the Knicks, even though I'm a Nets fan. I still would put Philly behind New York until I see Philly play up against them. Like I think it's going to be Philly versus New York on opening night, right? And if those five
Gotta
Sixers
be.
go into Madison Square, it's got to be, right? If those five Philadelphia 76ers go into Madison Square Garden and beat the Knicks, then, well, yeah, call them favorites in the East. I still think the Knicks are the deeper team. Philly's bench is a concern, but I'm not going to be like a bench is a reason you don't win a championship. Like those five starters, like you said, it's we've never seen it. I would say Philly's ceiling right now, as we're speaking, I'd call them two in the East, and floor, I'd call them three or four. I still think this is the Knicks conference until proven otherwise. But the biggest thing, like you said with LeBron James, it's gravity. Even at 41, the amount of gravity, and I hate using the word aura, but the what he carries with him and what Jaylen Brown carries with him and the upgrades Philly made, yeah, I do think the Knicks are like I don't want to call it scared because they went through the Spurs and other teams, but like it's noticeable for sure. And I think it's also a cool storyline too that for the Knicks starters, right? Jalen Brunson grew up in New Jersey, Philly sports fan. Mikal Bridges grew up in Philly, went to Villanova. Josh Hart went to Villanova. Cat grew up in New Jersey. I guess he's not a Philly sports fan, but grew up in that area. And now,
Oh,
like
he
your
is a Philly
hometown,
sports fan.
he is a Philly
Cat,
sports
yeah,
fan.
yeah.
Okay, cool. Like now your hometown team has the player that you looked up to when you were going through the AAU circuits, college and stuff. And now like they're the guys that are competing with you. And like my dad made the joke to me earlier. It's like the Monstars and Toon Squad. Like they upgraded. Philly really upgraded and respect to Mike Yancey, respect to the new regime. I'm just not ready to put them above New York. Maybe that's my bias. Maybe because that's like I haven't seen it work, but we'll be on this podcast in May if they meet in the conference finals or semifinals, whatever it is, and we'll have a lot more ammo there. Like my one thing too, right now I'll call Philly anywhere in the 4 through 8 range in the NBA contender pyramid. I think the three above them right now are the Knicks, Spurs, and Thunder. And then I think they're right there with like, you don't know what the Wolves are, you don't know what Philly is yet, but I would put Philly at 4. Right. And I swear I'm going to throw it over to you guys. But the last thing I wanted to say and I'm sort of blanking out on it right now. It's just the ebbs and flows of the NBA season. You just don't know what's going to happen with this team. And if you look at LeBron's post, right, his Twitter post, one word that stood out to me: sacrifice. That is the biggest thing for the Philadelphia 76ers, because you're talking about four guys that have been pretty much 1As their entire career. Like, I know Tyrese Maxey hasn't been with Embiid, but those are four guys that could go for 30 on any given night. LeBron could still go for 30 on any given night at 41. That's insane. Sacrifice. How are they going to mesh together in Nick Nurse's system to beat a team like the Knicks that is so systematically good, or the Thunder so systematically good, or when you got Wemby in the paint? And so that's like, they're going to need to sacrifice stuff. And I think LeBron's not the guy he used to be, where everything needed to be about him, or else he wouldn't have taken a $4 million a year contract. And he wants to win a ring. And if he gets that fifth ring and he brings a championship to the 76ers for the first time in 40 plus years, and he'll be in the fold for that, yeah, that's an incredible story. It's an incredible story. At 41, to go to another team and win a championship, never done in the league. I know I sort of took that on my own, but I'd put them at 4 right now.
Tucson, before you go, Jake, I'm glad I'm happy you said um I'm happy that you said New York's not scared. Because it's not New York's being scared. They're not scared. That's not
Yeah,
the word.
no.
That's you're correct. It's not the word. It's they're not scared. It's undeniable motivation.
Yeah, they got to
Because
notice
they
it. Like, they're
yeah,
noticing.
it's yeah, it's something that's on their radar. Because now New York goes from who's standing in front of me this year, like what's stopping us, to nah, this is what's standing in front of you. It's Philly. That that's
Exactly.
that's what this does for New York. That's what changed with the signing is
And
now
it's not
they
only
have
Philly
something
too.
standing in front of them.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like, we don't know what Miami's going to be, but with Giannis back, like, Giannis could change any game, right? Indiana shoots the crap out of the ball. Tyrese is back. They could be decent. Boston, I'm out on, but you still have Jason Tatum. Like, this is all, like, Tucson, you could go. This is the best the East has been since LeBron left. It really is. Kawhi with the Raptors, I don't think that they're going to be that great, but you never know. I mean, what are the Wizards doing? We'll see. It's interesting. Don't get me started about my Charlotte Hornets down here. Like, the East is probably this is probably the best the East has been since LeBron left. And he said, screw it, I'll go back. Like, that's pretty sick.
yeah,
Yeah, I didn't even mention the Cavs there, but I don't think the Cavs are a contender, in full honesty. I like they've done that's another conversation for another day.
yeah.
Yeah, for me, they're fourth. Like Jake said, I think the three teams ahead of them: Spurs, Thunder, Knicks. I said it then, even before when I believe it was when the whiteboard came out and there was deciding all the different teams and it was coming out. I said, if Philly gets LeBron, they're gonna win the East. That's still my opinion. I still picked them to win the East. I think the Knicks should be ahead of them by every betting favorite, by every line, by every measure when the season starts. Philly should not be ahead because we don't know what we're going to get from them. And like you said, the East is is a new East. This is not the East from last year. So we don't know the landscape of anything. And obviously the Knicks get the benefit of the doubt because they just won it and they did it in dominant fashion. But anytime you have an opportunity to get one of the greatest ever and he fits systematically perfectly, because I understand we don't know what it's going to look like and we still don't. But my prediction is Jaylen Brown's going to average his 25. Tyrese Maxey's going to average his 25. VJ is going to stay where he is in terms of his averages. I don't think he's going to go up, but I think he's going to be very impactful. I think he's going to be the young, spry guy that does everything, maybe a little of the dirty work. You know,
He's gonna
do
guard their best player half the time. Like,
he's going to
yeah,
be they're probably the most important player doing everything outside of scoring 25. And then Braun, from the thing that told you talked about sacrifice. We talked about for years about if LeBron is going to take less money to go here or to stay with the Lakers. And every year he wanted his max. He wanted his 51. This time he's saying, no, I'm going to another franchise. I'm going to take $4 million, right? Two for eight with the player option. I'm going to take the minimum so that I that's the sacrifice right there. And so when he gets in that building, I think what he's bringing is not his expertise, not his game, but his expertise. Yes, LeBron James can still average 30, but I think he's given them the IQ and the knowledge, everything to hold it together. Because what they needed without Braun, that team is probably fifth in the East, maybe. I don't know, just because They might be
I put
third.
him a little
I'd
higher,
say
but
like
it is.
three. I'd say
I
three.
mean, realistically, here's the thing. You're only getting 20% of Embiid, and you're only getting that in the playoffs, right? So you have two guys, or yeah, three guys, two guys that are going to give you like 25 plus, and then you're going to get Edgecombe, who's going to give you maybe like 20. And all of that is hard for me to imagine that you can get far in the East. Because then
Yeah,
we also have to remember Atlanta's good. You talked about Toronto. We still don't, Detroit is a little up in the air right now. We still don't know about that. Indiana's coming back with
yeah.
Halliburton. Like everybody's like,
Brooklyn.
oh my gosh, this guy right
Ah,
here.
man.
Everybody,
Relentless, man.
everybody's coming with something to the table this year. And so it's gonna be a bloodbath in the East. But again, LeBron's looking at that standpoint like, listen, I've every single time I've been in the East, it's my East, it's my conference, and he's coming back with a squad. So even if you get 20% of Embiid, boom, you're getting 225 plus game scorers, a 20, plus sophomore, and then Braun, and then whatever Embiid can give you on top of that. So I was listening to ESPN today, and this is the last thing I'll say. They were talking about the percentages of ball handling, and they added all of their all starting five, the percentages, and it was like 146%. And
Yeah, Jesus.
it was like a ball and a half of like possessions. And it's like they're really everybody's gonna have to take a step back. But I think the important thing here is this: Maxi and Edgecombe are of the younger generation, and they idolize Braun. So I think that they're willing to take that step back. Rich Paul has said that LeBron loves Maxi, and I'm pretty sure Maxi would do, if Bron's like do this, that, and the other thing, even though it is Maxi's team, he'd be willing to, it's Bron. You know what I mean? People have that respect that they'll make it shift and move because none of them have experience, right? None of them, except for, Brown, but this is Bron. So for me, the question mark is if Jaylen Brown is gonna take a step back. He just averaged 30 and wanted the team for himself, and now he's getting Braun and company.
Yeah, now he could be arguably like the fourth option. Like that's sort of
Right,
what I was gonna get into. Like,
right.
I,
No, Jalen Brown is not even
no,
gonna
no,
be a
no.
fourth option.
We're
I'm just saying, like on a given night, he could be because of how good they are. I'm not saying he
Yeah,
is.
I'm
I'm not
yeah,
saying he is.
yeah.
I
Okay.
think with Jalen Brown and stuff, like it's funny because when Jalen Brown got drafted, like I think that was the year. I'm pretty sure he got drafted 16 or 17. That was the year LeBron beat the Warriors and stuff. And so it's not only Maxi and Edgecombe, it is Embiid and it is Jalen Brown. Like these guys are young enough that when LeBron comes in, like I said, the gravity, like I'm not going to beat a dead horse as much. Calling Jalen Brown a fourth option, like it's funny because I like he never wanted out of Boston. I really don't think he did. He never really requested a trade, but it was clear that Boston didn't want him. But now he's like on a given night, he's not going to be the game changer because he doesn't have to be. And I think it's the same with LeBron. Like LeBron doesn't have to be, and you saw that with Luca. And I know LeBron and Luca didn't play together for too much, but Luca Doncic was the best player on the floor whenever he was on the floor. And so it'll be really interesting for Philly. And then like there's going to be so many conversations about how many regular season games should Embiid play because Embiid barely played in the regular season, came back, dropped to what 29 against the Celtics in Game 7. And I know the Celtics didn't have Tatum, but he still did that.
and then
And so
he still blew a fuse and ran out of gas after a
still ran
3-1
out of gas.
comeback. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. No, like that's pretty much it. Like
Oh,
for me,
I just realized that Embiid genuinely could have a pity ring. Like he could play 20 games and then like half the postseason and get a
so
ring.
let me ask you this. Okay, we could
Oh
talk about
no,
Embiid.
he gonna get
Exactly.
one of them cubic zirconium rings.
No,
That's what he gonna get. He not getting no real
if
ring. You ain't put
if
in
the
on this.
yeah, if the Sixers, this is what I was going to ask you, and I don't mean to take like the hosting duty, but this is something I wanted to talk about. If the Sixers don't win a championship either with LeBron or with Jalen Brown, or I guess if the Sixers don't win the championship with LeBron, does it reflect more on LeBron or does it reflect more on the Sixers?
It depends on what happens realistically.
That's
Yeah.
If
that's
if
valid.
if the Knicks somehow turn this not into a 1-year ordeal, but they realize like we're really that good and they run the East, I won't put it on LeBron's career, but it'll be like I need them to do damage. Because like here's the thing, the league has changed so much. So right now we can't look at it through 2020 vision. because it's like we don't know what's gonna happen come the start of the season. But
Yeah.
it's like the NBA has changed so much. We still regard the three best teams and they haven't changed, but other than that, you don't know where the Sixers lie in, like you made your point. So for me, I it's hard for me to judge it now because I'm like, I have no idea what half the teams are gonna look like. I don't even know if Kawhi is
Mhm.
in Toronto. We don't even know if Grady Dick is on the Lakers or on the Clippers or not. We have no
Clippers.
idea. We have no idea
Exactly.
what's going on. So like
So, mhm.
Yeah, I would agree with Toussaint there. I mean, I feel like it's a that's a situational type of thing. I think it's we have to see how they play first and what's going on and if they have issues, what are the issues and like if LeBron's just pissed off that he's a fourth option and he's making these comments, he's frustrated, then you're like, yeah, maybe, but like if they're just not playing good basketball together, I think that's more of a
Yeah.
team chemistry type of deal. So it's I don't know. Yeah, it's a situational type of thing.
We could bounce off it and I'll give it back to you, Toussaint. But my thought was this, and this is something that most people will disagree with, but I actually think I'm gonna double on it. I think the bigger move for Philadelphia this offseason was trading for Jalen Brown than signing LeBron James. And I know that sounds
Absolutely.
ridiculously crazy, but LeBron has 1 or 2 years. Jalen Brown is now the face of the franchise for the next 5 years. Like he has 3 years on his deal, and then they're probably going to extend him or give him the max or stuff. And I think the Sixers very well could not win a championship these 2 years without LeBron James, right? Or this year without LeBron James. The Knicks are good. There are other teams that are good. If they don't win with Jalen Brown and beat him Maxi, I think that's a bigger failure. And I think it's going to reflect more on Philly in that standpoint. Like, look, I'm a guy that it always goes back to the Jordan LeBron debate, and I hate that because they're two different generations and stuff. But when people are having that, people be like, LeBron went to Philly and couldn't win. I think a lot of it is LeBron James. You sort of know what you're getting now, and it's about what's around him. If they're going to beat New York, I really do think that. And so I don't think it's as much of a failure for LeBron. Like you said, it's very situational. Like there's a chance that Jalen Brown, Embiid, and Maxey all average high 25s and LeBron puts up a dud in the playoffs. That would be the failure for LeBron. But besides that, like he has his 4 rings. He's going to Philly to try to win another, but maybe it's not enough. For Philly, I think trading for Brown makes them a top contender in the East. And they're only going to get better. And after LeBron, you just don't know what's going to happen. So,
for
yeah,
me, I was just
yeah.
gonna say for me, if they make the finals, let's say they make the finals this year, but they lose to the Spurs, I'm not gonna be like, oh my goodness, that's a tarnish on his record. I'm gonna be like, Wemby just won his first ring. And if
Yeah.
Wemby wins 7 rings, I'm gonna be like, Wemby's the GOAT. You know what I mean? Like
Exactly.
genuinely,
No,
I'll
this
be
is
like,
what
Wemby's
this
the
is what
GOAT.
I'm getting
So
at. Like this is what I'm getting at. I guess to seal it, like to call it a successful season for the Sixers, I think it's beating New York, beating whoever the top dog is, and making the finals. Like I'm just not ready. Like again, I'm much more pessimistic about all this, but I'm not ready to be like Philly's winning the championship like this. I think they could, but with how good the West is and how good the Knicks or any other team is, and I'm trying to take the Knicks out of it, it's hard. And so if they're able to get to the finals, I think that's where I'm just like, that's the success. And that's where they got there. Like the conference finals, we make the Embiid conference finals jokes all the time. Depends, again, situational. But if they make the finals, successful for LeBron, maybe not for Philly, but they'll be back. That's how I feel about it.
Yeah, for sure. I agree.
Yeah.
um
Um,
oh go ahead. You can
no,
say
no,
it.
no. I was gonna literally say back to you. I didn't want to steal the
Oh,
host
okay.
stuff.
Um where do we I was just wondering, this will be the last question for us and we can wrap it up. In terms of the offseason moves, obviously we just talked about it. Very impactful offseason. A lot of stuff happened. Where do we rank this? You don't have to give me a specific number, but in terms of the trades that came through this offseason, where do you necessarily rank it?
I think that it's one in terms of LeBron James going to any team. I think just in terms of the press, the media, and how good of a basketball player he is, I still think that's one. But in terms of a pure basketball move, and you could even add a little media, I would say three. The two that I had put in front of it is one, Giannis to the Heat. I think that's the biggest one. It changes the Heat, it changes the Bucks. Giannis is a top 5 player in the league, right? And two, like I said, I still think the Jalen Brown move is bigger because it gives the Sixers that bigger window when LeBron decides to hang it up. And I'd put LeBron at 3 because LeBron puts the Sixers over the hump into the national championship, not national championship, this is in college, NBA title contenders. But in terms of just like straight basketball, Giannis is going to be, I know Giannis is 32. He's going to be around for 5, 6 more years. He'll probably be one of the best players in the league for 5, 6 more years. Jalen Brown, probably the same thing. And for the Sixers, after Jalen Brown peaks off and Embiid peaks off, they still have Tyrese Maxey and they could build around him. And so that's the reason I'd say 3. But in terms of just the press, the media, I mean, LeBron's going to be one with anything unless Michael Jordan got into a new body and said, "I'm coming to play basketball again." Like that's just what he is. That's literally what he is. So
Yeah, no, I agree. I think it's well, I agree to an extent. I think obviously like we talk about popularity, news, whatever, it's round one. Like that tweet had 4.5 million views in 11 minutes. Like that's insane. It's probably at like I don't even know, like what
you want me to tell you? I'm on Twitter.
200, yeah, go check. It's probably at like 200 million right now or
On
something like
Twitter right now, 20 million.
20 million. Okay, so
Yeah,
it's
on Twitter alone, but I'm sure if I went on Instagram, like I'll go on Instagram too and
still
tell you
kind
the likes in a second if you want to continue. Like,
but yeah, like in terms, I agree with Jake in terms of yeah, like news. Obviously, it's LeBron number one. Everybody was waiting for that. It's literally been what everybody has been posting for every single day the past what month since he announced 2 months actually since he announced he wasn't returning to LA. So, everybody's been talking about it. I would say Jalen Brown's number one only because I think we kind of went into this offseason knowing Giannis was not going to be a Milwaukee Buck anymore. I do agree, though. Obviously, like I put it at 2. I agree. Like obviously, it changes Miami. Giannis, of course, top guy in the league, star, generational. Um, Changes Milwaukee. They're in a whole new, era over there. Um, but I think we weren't really certain Jalen Brown was going to get traded. I at least for me, I thought it was more so like kind of what Giannis was in the beginning. Like we had been discussing Giannis getting traded for like the past what season and a half,
Yeah.
yeah.
and Jalen Brown just came up all of a sudden within mid-season, end of the year, and then he just gets traded on a random day to Philly, and
The
it
other
was
thing,
what the hell?
the other thing about the Jalen
Yeah.
Brown is that it made a team worse, a team that had been a premier, contender for the last
Yeah.
decade. Last
Yeah.
9 years, they had been a contender with the two of them. Now made
And
them
they won a
worse.
ring.
Yeah, they won a
Yeah.
ring. Been to was it two finals? Two
2 finals.
two
Yeah.
Yeah.
finals,
Warriors and
won a ring.
24.
They had always been a threat to win the championship, and now they actively got worse. They went behind they gave the Sixers one of their players and got worse and went
I would
behind
say,
them.
yeah, they flipped. That
Yeah.
Yeah, they
was where I
absolutely
was
flipped. I mean,
going.
like, I don't want
Mhm.
to put it in the whole thing, but like the biggest loser of this offseason is Boston. Like, it's absolutely Boston.
Yeah.
I think Jason Tatum's a top 10 player in the league. I think he's ridiculous and I think he could win any game, but he's 28. He's entering his prime, and you just trade away his best teammate, and the team got worse. And like, look, I still think Paul George could play basketball. I still think the Celtics lineup's good, but like you said, they're not better than Philly. They're not better than New York. They're probably not better than Miami, assuming Miami gets a competent point guard. And so, like I'll throw it back to you, but they're the team that lost it. They're the team that lost it because they missed out on Giannis.
Oh yeah. And they went
Like
from
all this happens because they missed out on Giannis.
and
Seriously.
they literally went from Giannis to 36-year-old Paul George, who was just the third option, which is
Exactly. Like, look, I'm
it's
not going to be the guy, and I swear, last time I say it, I'm not saying the Knicks broke the NBA. I'm not. But the Celtics looked at New York. This is Brian Windhorst's words, not mine. The Celtics looked at the Knicks and said, we can't beat them with what we have right now. And that's why they wanted to go get Giannis. They miss out on Giannis, but Jalen Brown knows he's in the deal. Then stuff gets crazy there. They trade him to Philly, and then Philly gets on LeBron's radar. And then there's the moves like Kawhi, and obviously Giannis gets traded to the Heat and the Wizards, and you don't know what the Pistons are, right? Um, and so like that one team that stayed the same is New York. And so it's crazy to say they broke the league, no, but they forced a lot of moves, and because they finally worked out. Um, Yeah, that's all I wanted to say.
Yeah, Brad Stevens is an idiot because I don't know why you think trading one of your best
Yeah,
players away with terrible. And the problem is, why was Hugo Gonzalez and Bailey Shireman the
the
defining
deal
pieces
breaker.
in a Giannis trade? Someone please
Exactly. Because
explain that to me.
it's ridiculous. Because like
Say,
I would come on here and you guys would come on here and be like, say Giannis went to the Celtics. I would say the Celtics are better than the Knicks. You guys would say the Celtics are better than the Knicks. But now we're here a month later, and Brad Stevens, like if the
boy,
Celtics don't win a playoff series, they might fire him.
Bailey Shireman better average 30. I'm telling he better
I
average, he better
give,
have a 30 piece every
I,
game.
Yeah.
I'll give my ball sack away for Giannis.
Yeah, no, dead ass, bro. Like, yes, thank you. Thank you. Like,
I'm
that
not
is our
even gonna
tweaker.
lie.
That is our tweaker of the week. It is Brad Stevens. It's
Like,
Brad Stevens.
ah,
And it is all right to believe in a player, bro. But
boy, I
all
go get that surgery for Giannis, man. Do
it's
it.
crazy. It's
No,
crazy,
Hugo
crazy.
Gonzalez better be defensive player of the year, bro. I'm telling you.
He
Brad Stevens.
tricked.
Bro,
Brad
why but
Stevens
my question is
tricked.
why did Brad Stevens why did he have such a great bro, he was a great coach and a great GM until he made I'm not gonna lie. Was he wait, did Brad Stevens make the Isaiah Thomas trade or was he still the
Mhm.
coach? He was
I
okay,
think
yeah.
he made the Isaiah Thomas, or I think
All
he was
right.
the coach. I think he was the coach.
So I'm gonna stamp this
He was
right
still
now.
coach.
I'm gonna stamp
Yeah.
this right now. Brad Stevens is a fraud. All right. You might have drafted two of the best Celtics of all time, but you keep trading bullshit. I'm gonna be honest. You traded away Isaiah Thomas in his prime for Kyrie, and then he dipped and left after like a couple years. This is the second time it's happened. Don't let it happen again. I'm putting him on fraud watch right
Yeah.
now. I'm
No,
putting him
that's
on fraud
absolutely
watch.
totally justified. And I know he wasn't the one guy that made the decision. And like, look, Jalen Brown went on his Twitch and said, Boston threw me to the curb or whatever he said. He didn't say those exact words, but he's just like, Boston didn't want me. Like, I agree with him. I don't think Boston wanted him. After that, they thought they couldn't win and they were willing to settle for Jalen Brown. I mean, I find one person in the NBA world that thinks the Celtics won the Jalen Brown trade, and that person's probably on a drug. And so they're just in a worse position. And it sucks. Like Jason Tatum lost this offseason because Jason Tatum, like we've spoke about in plenty of podcasts, like he had a ring. His jersey's going to be in the rafters, probably next to Jalen Brown. And then say you're a Boston family in 10 years, you have your kid, dad, who was Jason Tatum, who was Jalen Brown. Oh, yeah, they won us a championship. And then they got traded and it changed everything.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
they
I don't know.
they, they better help his. They can't go into next year with Paul George again. They can't like
No.
re-sign him because he only have him for 1 year too. That I mean for Boston also it was the money. The new owner didn't want
Yeah.
to pay two players 300 or two players $600 million. So they were like, we're just gonna trade him. But even with all that swirling, you got to get a good return. You
Yeah,
got
I
to
also
get at
don't
least
buy it that Portland didn't have an offer on the table or someone because he said if we Brad Stevens in his presser, I'm sorry I keep cutting you off. He's just like, if we had a better offer than our rivals, then we would have traded Jalen somewhere else. You're telling me you couldn't get a better offer than Paul George and two firsts? I guarantee you Portland with the ammunition they had and how they traded for John Morant for a bag of chips, they definitely had an offer. So if they made an offer, why don't we trade him to fucking Portland?
no, they
And
had
so
it. They had an offer, but he was smoking some strong stuff and decided Hugo Gonzalez and Bailey Shireman, who they
yeah,
probably paid $2 million to each of them, was
I was about to
worth.
say, bro, that was crazy.
crazy.
That was the offer.
That
That
was
was the
the
offer.
offer. That was the
If
offer.
they had said Peyton Pritchard, I would have been like, okay, we can have a
Yes.
discussion.
We can slow down,
But
Yep.
right?
those two
Exactly.
is ridiculous. I haven't seen Hugo
Especially with
Gonzalez
all the
get
wings Boston
crucial.
has.
I haven't
Especially with
seen
all the wings.
I haven't seen Hugo Gonzalez get crucial minutes, and I haven't seen Bailey Shireman with the rock in his hand with 2 minutes left. And you're telling me he's not worth part of the Giannis trade. All right,
Yeah.
we're gonna end there because Brad Stevens is
Let's finish. One more thing. Where do
yeah.
we predict it right now? Do the Sixers win? Where do the Sixers crash out or do they win the championship in the 27 season or 26, 27? So we could come back to this.
The Eastern champions will be the Philadelphia 76ers. I'm putting it in the air right now. I don't know who wins the West. I
Yeah,
think
we
it'll be
won't do that.
Spurs. I think it'll be Spurs, but I think they'll win the East this year.
Philly going to the finals, man.
You know what I'm doing. Conference finals lost to New York. But
This
yeah,
guy.
I mean,
Hey,
that's what it's gonna be.
yeah, I think it's what it's gonna be, but it's a fun time, and we don't even need to do our tweaker of the week because it's Brad Stevens, and I can say that because in 3 days I don't work for Nesson, so we're good. Yeah,
Also, you know who tweak of the week is? I got a tweak of the week.
yeah.
This is why you never, ever, ever get caught on camera talking shit about a player. Jaylen Brown. Remember when he's talking?
I
Bronny's
don't think
not
Brown.
that much of a problem. Hey, hashtag throw the ball up.
It's
Hashtag throw the
Throw
ridiculous.
the
ball
ball up.
up. Braun for the coming day one and let the
Throw the
he for the
ball
tell
up,
him. Oh
dog.
Yeah. All
All
right,
right.
good episode
That it.
60.
Good
yeah.
emergency pod. Everybody run up socials, TikTok, Instagram, all that. Comment. Who's gonna win the East? I think we should do.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Comment who should win the East. And yeah, share it out to everybody. Your mommy, grandma, whoever. As always, stay fly. Go Sixers.